Yuuki Wakura is a high school student who has had to live on his own after the mysterious disappearance of his sister many years ago. By sheer happenstance, he finds himself within the alternate dimension of Mado, where he is attacked by fearsome creatures called Shuuki. Yuuki is saved 7th Squad of Demon Defense Force, led by Kyouka Eden. Kyouka tells her subordinates Himari, Shushu, and Nae to look for other survivors while she protects Yuuki. Unfortunately, the Shuuki she had enslaved and used for combat dies until Kyouka gets the idea of using her peach ability on Yuuki, who is suddenly transformed into a Shuuki-like monster. In this new form, Yuuki is able to help the 7th Squad rescue other survivors, and while the 7th Squad evacuates the survivors, Kyouka gives Yuuki sexual pleasure as a reward for turning him into her slave. She offers Yuuki the opportunity to join her squad, and Yuuki takes it, as he wants to become a hero and avenge his sister. Upon arriving at the 7th Squad's dorm, however, Kyouka informs him that since men are not allowed to join the Demon Defense Force, he will only be able to contribute to the squad as a slave in the battlefield and as a caretaker within the dorm. Despite his best efforts to keep the dorm clean, Yuuki feels unsatisfied with his current duties, especially because Himari keeps antagonizing him and Shushu keeps to take photos of him and wants to use them to blackmail him. Nae explains to Kei that Mato is actually as big as the entire city of Tokyo, and there are 8 squads patrolling Mato. She also says that she, Kyouka, and Himari will have to attend to a meeting outside the dorm, so Yuuki and Shushu will be left in charge in their absence. Shushu, still showing some interest in Yuuki, challenges him to a video game. If she wins, he will become her slave, but if he wins, he will force her to delete the photos she took of him. Shushu wins and uses her peach ability to take Yuuki's clothes off and take a look at penis. Suddenly, a group of Shuuki attack the dorm, and Shushu can only fight them for a while before the effects of her ability wear off. To help her, Yuuki begins touching and licking Kyouka's clothes to trigger a partial transformation, and he is able to destroy the largest Shuuki in the dorm and save Shushu. Sometime later, Kyouka penalizes Shushu for her recklessness and sentences her to helping Yuuki with housekeeping. Meanwhile, a mysterious female Shuuki attacks a squad of DDF Forces soldiers and detects the presence of Yuuki within Mado. After going to the human realm and doing paperwork at the DDF's headquarters, Kyouka tells Yuuki her reasons for joining the DDF. Back when she was a child, her family and entire hometown was destroyed by a mysterious one-horned Shuuki that Kyouka has called the Unihorn. Before returning to Mato, Yuuki convinces Kyouka to visit a cafe and enjoy the chance to relax. Once they return to Mato, the 7th Squad is deployed by intercept a group of Shuuki led by the mysterious female Shuuki that has been attacking DDF soldiers recently. She also happens to be in command of the Unihorn, the appearance of which enrages Kyouka. During the battle, Yuuki and the female Shuuki seem to recognize each other, but the female Shuuki is forced to retreat when Kyouka violently attacks the Unihorn. Upon watching Yuuki trying to save Himari and Shushu, Kyouka realizes that the lives of their comrades are more important than her own need for revenge and orders a retreat. Upon returning to the dorm, Yuuki and Kyouka begin to suspect that the female Shuuki must be Yuuki's sister, Aoba. But before they can investigate any further, the 7th Squad is visited by Tenka Izumo, commander of the 6th Squad, and Yachiho, Himari's older sister. Because Shuuki attacks have become more frequent, Tenka suggests an exhibition match between squad as a form of training. Himari, anxious to beat Yachiho, asks Kyouka for permission to use Yuuki as her slave for her match, despite the physical toll it will take on her, and explains that her ability allows her to copy other people's abilities. With Himari as his master, Yuuki unlocks a new slave form that enhances his speed but reduces his strength, while Himari learns that whenever she uses Yuuki as her slave, she will have to give him pleasure the same way Kyouka does. As their training progresses, Yuuki and Himari grow closer together, with Himari revealing that her family, the Azumas, are filled with highly prestigious members and overachievers like Yachiho. She also explains that Yachiho's ability allows her to stop and rewind time, which means that Himari and Yuuki will have to come up with a plan to get around Yachiho's ability. To make up for his reduced strength, Yuuki learns to concentrate his strength in a single body part whenever Himari is his master. Once the match begins, Yachiho immediately uses her ability to rewind time, but Yuuki and Himari had already planned for that. Yuuki runs across the battlefield to trick Yachiho into constantly using her ability and exhausting herself. Once they are outside the range of Yachiho's ability, Himari tells Yuuki to attack her while Yachiho is vulnerable. Unfortunately, Yachiho stopped time for 10 seconds and shoots Yuuki and Himari with special bullets modified for usage within Mado. Yuuki inspires Himari to keep fighting, and together they trick Yachiho into leaving herself open to a gunshot from Himari, who is declared the winner. Once the combatants' injuries are healed, Yuuki and Himari go to their kitchen so they can drink water, but the price of using Yuuki as a slave causes Himari to kiss him, an event witnessed by Shushu, who is about to begin her match with Sahara Wakasa. Meanwhile, mysterious figures watch the exhibition match from a distance. The match between Shushu and Sahara begins. Shushu, wanting to impress Yuuki, attempts to beat Sahara without using her ability, but once the fight drags out, the combatants are forced to use their abilities. In her giant form, Shushu is stronger, but her attacks are easy to dodge, while Sahara uses her ability to increase her speed and agility. Shushu stomps Sahara into the ground and knocks her unconscious, but this triggers a secondary ability of Sahara. If she gets knocked unconscious, her body will move on instinct and attack friends and foes alike. With this new power, Sahara beats Shushu, who is heartbroken that she did not impress Yuuki like Himari did. Yuuki attempts to console her, and Shushu uses the opportunity to steal a kiss from her. After Shushu and Sahara get their injuries treated, the 7th Squad's dorm are attacked by an army of Shuuki, led by a humanoid known as Raren. The DDF squads regroup and mount a defense. Kyouka and Himari enslave Yuuki at the same time, and Yuuki unlocks a new slave form, while Yachiho fights Raren on her own. Yachiho is left severely injured, but Tenka, having already obliterated a huge portion of the Shuuki army, rescues her and prepares to fight Raren on her own. The 6th and 7th Squadrons continue their fight against the Shuuki army, while Tenka faces Raren on her own. Even without her ability, Tenka causes a small injury on Raren's arm and opens a hole in the space-time continuum to throw Raren in it. With the Shuuki army defeated, the 6th and 7th Squads agree to call off the exhibition match and investigate the humanoid Shuuki that led the attack. Sometime later, Yuuki, Kyouka, and Himari visit the 6th Squad's dorm so that Kyouka and Tenka can plan their next move. Yuuki does the 6th Squad's laundry and sees that, in their own way, Himari and Yachiho have grown closer as sisters. As their meeting concludes, Tenka asks Kyouka if she can keep Yuuki. Meanwhile, Raren is about to be consumed by the hole opened by Tenka until she is rescued by Shikoku, another humanoid Shuuki who has been attacking DDF squads to measure their strength. Since the 6th and 7th squads proved stronger than she anticipated, Shikoku believes she and other Shuuki should join forces to fight the DDF. Tenka attempts to convince Kyouka to relinquish Yuuki to the 6th Squad and says that she can recommend Kyouka to the position of Supreme Commander. But Kyouka declines the offer, both for her own feelings for Yuuki and because she wants to ascend to the position on her own merits. Tenka teleports into Yuki's room and tries to seduce him, only for 7th Squad to catch her. Even with Kyouka rejecting her advances, Tenka refuses to give up on Yuuki, as she has fallen in love with him. The next day, Kyouka tries to test new transformations for Yuuki, with Nei and Shushu serving as volunteers. With Nei as his master, Yuuki obtains X-ray vision and enhanced hearing. With Shushu as his master, Yuki's strength increases at the cost of his speed and mobility, and Kyouka decides that form is impractical, much to Shushu's disappointment. Kyouka and Tenka receive news that the commanders are planning a gathering to discuss their next move. An army of modified Shuuki attacks the 7th Squad's territory, but thanks to Tenka's ability, the 7th Squad eliminates the enemy without too much trouble. Shikoku, having modified the Shuuki, has observed the battle from a distance and becomes more interested in humans. Yuuki has become a respected member of the 7th Squad, and Tenka's interest in him grows. Suddenly, Nei gets a vision of a human under attack by Shuuki, and the 7th Squad deploys to defend her. Once they reach the victim, she reveals herself to be part of a trio of humanoid Shuuki, who attacks the 7th Squad and kidnaps Yuuki. While Himari tends to Shushu's injuries, Kyouka figures out that the ambush was simply a diversion to kidnap Yuuki, who is taken to a hidden village populated by humanoid Shuuki. There, Yuuki is attended by Aoba, who is finally revealed to be alive and a humanoid Shuuki as well. She and her friends, Naon and Coco, reveal that despite their humanoid appearances, they still behave and think like humans. When Yuuki suggests the humanoid Shuuki appeal their case to the DDF, however, they refuse and tell Yuuki the DDF wouldn't only consider them enemies. Aoba does tell Yuuki that the peaches from Mato, and Yuuki insists on hearing the whole story. Meanwhile, Kyuka's body begins reacting to Yuuki's presence somewhere within Mato, and she asks the 6th Squad for help in saving Yuuki. Aoba and her friends explain to Yuuki that they became humanoid Shuuki after consuming the peaches of Mato and getting exposed to Mato's miasma. Coco and Naon were captured by a secret branch of the DDF that performed unethical experiments on humans mutated by the peaches, but managed to escape and met Aoba, who had secluded herself to a cave and worked really hard to retain her human intellect for years. Their plan is to attack the DDF using wild Shuuki they had domesticated, including Unihorn. Suddenly, the 6th and 7th Squads have tracked Yuuki down to the cave used by the humanoid Shuuki as a hideout and begin their rescue operation. Kyouka and Tenka catch up to Aoba, but Yuuki attempts to defuse the situation by explaining what happened to Aoba and her friends. Although the DDF captains offer a peaceful solution, Aoba still wants revenge for her friends, and a fight begins. Meanwhile, Shikoku and her faction of humanoid Shuuki become aware of the fight at the caves and prepare to move out. While Kyouka fights the Unihorn, Tenka keeps Aoba distracted with her portals. Aoba consumes as many peaches as she can, forcing Tenka to engage in a sustained battle. On the outside, Coco and her pet Shuuki keep Shushu and Sahara on the defensive. To beat them, Shushu shrinks down to a very small size and Shushu throws her into the Shuuki's mouth. Deep inside the beast's stomach, Shushu grows gigantic and tears the beast from the inside, and Sahara uses one of the Shuuki's teeth to stab Coco. Meanwhile, deeper in the caves, Yachiho realizes that Naon and her Shuuki have been targeting Himari all along, so she exhausts her energy trying to protect Himari. To draw Naon out of hiding, Himari fires her guns in multiple directions and incapacitates the enemies while Yachiho shoots them with special bullets. Tenka baits Aoba into attacking the Unihorn and leaving herself exposed, but ultimately decides not to attack her, which allows Aoba to inflict damage on her. As the two enemy forces converge, they are ambushed by Shikoku's faction, the 8 Thunder Gods. Since they have no allegiance to other humanoid Shuuki, Shikoku brainwashes the Unihorn into attacking everyone present, but Yuuki and Kyouka step in to fight it. The battle at the caverns continues, and the Unihorn mutates into a second, even stronger form, but Yuuki breaks its horn with his mouth and restrains it with his chains, giving Kyouka enough time to kill it. With the Unihorn dead, Kyouka finally gets closure for the destruction of her hometown, but Shikoku and Juryu retreat, having kidnapped Coco and Naon. While Tenka evacuates the injured back to the DDF's headquarters, Kyouka promises Aoba that she will become Supreme Commander to the DDF so that victims like Aoba will no longer suffer prosecution from the Onmu Bureau, the secret organization that conducted illegal experiments on Shuuki. Aoba decides that she and her fellow humanoid Shuuki will stay hidden and avoid detection from Yamashiro, the DDF's current Supreme Commander. Shikoku takes Coco and Naon to her fortress and feeds them to a mysterious beast. Back at the 7th Squad's dorm, Yuuki and his friends celebrate their victory with a party and continue their fight against the Shuuki.